Hey toy collectors, welcome to another super exciting outrageous toy review. Today I'm showing off my buddy Brian's Warhammer 40,000 Tyranid army. These are miniatures that were made by Games Workshop for their tabletop games in the late 90s and early 2000s. We started playing Warhammer during 2nd edition. Games Workshop is about to release the 9th edition of the game, so it's changed quite a bit, and especially the Tyranid model line has changed a lot. They've gone much more H.R. Giger inspired and kind of gotten away from what the modern gamers call the goofiness, like the goofy looks that the old Tyranids had.
The colors were really crazy, especially in the rule book. They showed all kinds of just wild color schemes.
And there was no consistency within the army. Like, each troop type had a completely different color scheme.
Yeah, the models look nothing like each other.
It's true. Yeah, the old ones, like the Termagants and the Tyranid warriors were the only red ones, so it seemed like they weren't related at all to the Hive Tyrant, or the Carnifex. Like, you didn't believe they were like the same species in a way.
And they weren't good warriors at all. They were not fighters.
Yeah, but the Genestealers have kind of kept their design. Like, they haven't changed much compared to most of the other models.
They were the coolest of them all, I think.
I think so too.
To begin with,
they're definitely a classic for sure.
I was trying to match the rulebook paint schemes, but I also come up with some of my own as well.
Gotcha.
And I was kind of bad at painting, especially with the gargoyles. I was trying to come up with a different paint scheme for each one. They were all a little bit different.
So that was something I was going to ask you, because all your other units, you made them all identical, and that was the one unit where you were getting bored of painting identical models, and that's why you decided to try that, or?
I think I really just wanted to experiment with each one, make them all individuals.
Those models were such a pain, though, having metal models on top of lightweight plastic flying stands.
Oh yeah, they were completely top-heavy, and the super glue that we were using to glue the plastic post to the model was not really effective at holding them at all.
Yeah.
So they would always tip over, and then they would snap off at the base. And a lot of mine have a whole blob of super glue right on that joint.
You can see the white fogged plastic at the top of the posts from being glued over and over and over again.
Yeah, and it was the liquid super glue, which just ran everywhere. They're cool though. I liked a lot of how my models were different colors.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you definitely had a nice variety with the army. I noticed your two lictors have what seems like the same paint scheme, but maybe you just learned some new techniques or something.
Oh yeah.
There's way more shading on the sickles on the one, and maybe it's washed or edge highlighted or something like that. But the plates look different.
Yeah, I definitely painted the first one very early. I think that was the first Tyranid metal model that I got.
Okay.
And I painted it to try and match it to the book.
Right.
But then I got a second one, because these guys were crazy back then. Put them somewhere great. And then as your armies would advance, I leapt them out from behind cover. And they would just rip your guys to shreds.
And they had the flesh hooks so they could grab guys that weren't quite next to them and pull them into close combat.
Yeah, it was from a far distance too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I realized early on that these were some of the troops that I had that could actually kill your stuff.
Yeah, so you predominantly fought Space Marines and Eldar. Space Marines are one of the tougher base troops, as far as they're all armored and they all can shoot pretty well. And then the Eldar guys that our buddy Derek used, he always just used aspect warriors. He never used the basic guardians. So even those guys were not quite as good as Marines, but they were still better than your average Orc or Imperial Guard. Do you know what the first models were that you got in your army?
Huh. Well, I got a box of Genestealers first off, I think. And then the Carnifex probably next. Because, the Carnifex and the Hive Tyrant were the big guys you needed.
Yeah.
And I think, the Carnifex had the ball that was... It was a plasma ball that it shoots out.
The Hive Tyrant's your leader. You pretty much have to have one in every Tyranid army to control the force. And you had a couple different weapon options. You gave it, I think, the Venom Cannon there with the Bone Sword and Lash Whip. But there was also another gun that was an option. and there was also another head. This one has like an attacking head, but there was one where the mouth was closed.
I probably should have used the one where the mouth was closed, honestly. This mouth seems over the top.
You gave me that head afterwards, and I mounted it as like a trophy on one of my models.
It's a good head. It's probably the better head. Those pieces probably are still worth something on the internet, you think?
Yeah. I've actually been buying a lot of old models. So the Termagants, you had...
They suck. They're the worst.
2 boxes of plastic Termagants, it looks like. Clearly painted at different times. Or one set's not finished, I'm not sure which.
Yeah, I think the one set was not finished. I was experimenting by the end with like painting the wash on first, and then I'd like add a little bit of the paint on top, and then I think try and dry brush a little bit to like bring out the highlights.
Yeah, I feel like we didn't know the painting techniques that everybody else uses or the heavy metal people used, and now I'm learning a lot of them, and it really does improve it. Like, so how about Hormagaunts? They moved really fast, like 18 inches when they charge, which is crazy.
Yeah, they were really cool too. Like I like the Lictor and the Hormagaunts because they moved so fast. Most of the Tyranid army back then didn't have very strong attacks, but they could either move fast or like hit fast. It was much more of an attacking army.
The Hormagaunt metal models fell over really easy though. They were kind of heavy for the jumping poses they were in.
Yeah, same as the gargoyles.
Yeah. There's definitely 2 here that you got later on that have a purple wash to them, and like their spines are painted like bone color. I think those look really cool.
Yeah, and I think I never quite finished some of those either. They look like half done. But I got a lot better at that too, like blending the bone color on the claws.
You did a lot of dry brushing that kind of looks like the edge highlighting that the heavy metal painters do, which looks good on them, picks out some of the details.
Yeah, I think I was reading stuff on the internet by this point that, like advice about how to paint them.
So the Tyranid warriors, they were one of the last units I feel like you got for your army. They were pretty expensive to get 3 of them eventually.
Yeah, and they looked so goofy in the plastic ones.
Plastic ones are really goofy, and then these metal ones are a little bit more serious, but still really goofy compared to the modern Tyranid warriors.
They still only give you a couple of the weapons.
Yeah, there's the Devourer, the Spine Fist, and Bone Swords. I forget what the other one's called.
Yeah, most of these weapons are not good. Like, I always had a problem. We were playing together. My weapons just couldn't kill your stuff.
I think if you were playing Orcs or Imperial Guard, you would have had less trouble. It would have been more evenly matched. The Marines were just so tough.
Yeah.
I think I got you the Ripper Swarm as a birthday or Christmas present just because it was the only model in your army that you didn't own yet. It was like the last...
They look really good, too.
Yeah, I think they turned out really funny. The Biovore was kind of a cool model. You had 2 of these. I think you painted the red body one first?
Oh, jeez. Yeah, the purple one I think was first.
I still remember a battle where somehow I killed the Biovore, like, immediately. And so all the spores just float around it, and then set off a chain reaction of them blowing up and, like, one template causing another template blast, and just kind of, like, destroying everything around it.
Yeah, because the spore bombs are not that great.
Usually you just litter the battlefield, and I would just kind of hope none of them went off.
Yeah, they're, like, all kind of random how they blow up. When you had a Biovore explode and release all of its spore bombs at once, that actually made it a more effective weapon. So you kind of want them all to set off in a chain reaction.
So you got a box of plastic Genestealers. I think they're one of the coolest models, and they've improved them a little bit, but they still look very similar, the newer Genestealers. I always was surprised you didn't get more of them.
They were really good. They were basically equivalent to your Terminators.
Yeah, they were really good at just ripping apart my guys. As long as they got close, I couldn't stop them. Especially if you had multiple attackers. You rolled so many dice. It was insane.
I'm not sure if we were playing that right.
Well, there's a lot of things that I'm not sure that we played 100% correct, because there wasn't a lot of times we played other people, so there wasn't a lot of, like, challenges to the rules that were settled by anybody else. I remember being really excited with the way you blended the black into the orange on your Carnifex.
The Carnifex was actually one of my first models, I think.
Yeah.
And that's where I really decided I wanted to do that sort of blending style.
Okay. It looks a lot like the way it looks in the rulebook.
Yeah, and I was really happy with how that came out. The bone in the face and like the orange to black in the arms.
And I made it like a dead Space Marine from my homemade chapter to put on the base of it.
And it was really the best soldier in my army.
It was the toughest thing. I would just pray to hit it with heavy weapons before it could get to me.
Yeah, it could destroy absolutely anything you guys had. We were all playing with, like, overpowered...
Correct. The best stuff from each army was always on the battlefield.
Absolutely overpowered individuals. But this Carnifex could, like, rip through anything you had. Whether it was hand-to-hand combat and it shredded you with those 4 arms, or it just blasted you with that plasma ball.
Yeah, it was really, really good. So towards the end of us playing, I was really pushing you to get into Genestealer Cult, but I felt like we kept playing the same games over and over again because we were using the same kind of army lists, best stuff all the time. And I think I don't know if I tracked some of this stuff down on eBay with you, or I was like, I got some of it for you for a Christmas present or something one year. Most of this stuff is not finished being painted because it was like right around the time that we stopped playing.
Yeah, I remember you picked up a lot of stuff from the old Genestealer Cult.
So this is the Patriarch, who's like a giant Genestealer.
That model is crazy. I love that one.
It's really weird.
It's like the muscular Genestealer.
Yeah.
It was so much fun. Genestealers I already loved because they were ripping apart your Terminators. But this guy was the biggest one.
So then you had a Magus and 1 metal Genestealer. I don't know where I found that Genestealer.
That one doesn't even have his arms on yet.
So his arms came on like a different kind of sprue and you just never finished painting them or whatever. And it looks like your Magus, I don't know if that's a Genestealer arm or like an Elder Guardian arm that's holding his plasma gun or melt-to-gun, whatever that is.
Yeah, I think I remember you gave me the arm for that one.
Yeah, I probably just had it in my bits box. So then the hybrids, there were lots of different hybrid models. The ones that were the easiest to find at the point we were collecting them was that there's like these 2, like one of them came with the Magus and his blister, and then the other ones came together.
I always wondered why they held those giant knives.
It's their close combat weapon. These guys I think were really cool though. These are like the hybrid models, but they come with the plastic arm sprue. You've got a combination of weapons there. Probably, again, stuff from my bits box. There's an Elder Power Fist, there's some Orc weapons, some of the...
Yeah, I think you put all those guys together for me.
Okay. Yeah, there's an Imperial Guard grenade launcher there.
Well, I started to paint them, but didn't quite get all the way through.
That's what the sprue looks like there for the Genestealer hybrids. I think you started all this stuff, but it was just right around the time we got out of the hobby.
Yeah, the Genestealer army was interesting, but they were underpowered, kind of like the Imperial Guard. It was just a different take on that same army.
These guys were all custom hybrids I made for you. I had a bunch of Lizardmen models I had picked up over the years. They came in like a paint set, and I got a blister of them somewhere. And there's a few Imperial Guard guys there. And so I just sort of like modified the heck out of them to make them into hybrids for you because they were impossible to get and too expensive.
They were the Lizardmen Warhammer?
Yeah, the fantasy game. And I added arms to them to make them more like Genestealers. There's sort of the differences. There's a Lizardman one next to the real ones, and then here's the hybrid, the more humanoid hybrid next to an Imperial Guard guy turned into a hybrid.
I think it would have been really fun to play the Genestealer Cult against an Imperial Guard army.
Yes, I think that would be a lot of fun. And this hybrid banner bearer I created using a servitor, the Tech Marine support guys.
I remember that one. That's really cool with the flesh banner. I think if I would have finished my Genestealer Cult army, I would have made them all that flesh banner zombie guy.
Yeah.
It's like halfway between orcs and Genestealers.
The arm that's holding the banner is actually an arm that's supposed to be throwing a hand grenade. I just drilled out the hand grenade so we could hold that banner.
And it was also cool because I played Tyranids all the time to be able to use the same weapons that you guys used.
So these guys are Brood Brothers that were made from the Imperial Guard Jungle Fighter guys. And I customized all these guys up for you. And so a lot of them don't even have real guns from the game. It was like I just used a lot of bits and pieces. So you'll see some guys that have like model guns and these heavy weapon troopers that I sort of cobbled together out of bits.
Looks like a Biovore.
So like that's a real heavy bolter, but like the wheels are actually shields from skeleton warriors.
Oh yeah.
But then you can see the real Imperial Guard tires on that heavy flamer. I think that we could have had some pretty fun battles with it. We just never kept at the game at that point in time.
Yeah, we did have some pretty fun battles. What's the Zoanthrope?
Oh yeah, the Zoanthrope. I forgot about that with the giant head.
The psychic.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you guys had all kinds of psychic powers that I could only combat once I got the Zoanthrope.
Right.
It's like a Genestealer crossed with a Tyranid warrior.
If any of you guys are gamers, I hope you guys enjoyed getting to check out these miniatures. In the comments down below, let me know if you like this kind of content. I have access to other Warhammer 40k armies from the same era. If you'd like to see them, I would be happy to show them off. Thanks for watching this super exciting, outrageous toy review. Make sure to like, subscribe, check out my other videos.